Hey yogis, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Alauna and I am a 22-year-old yoga teacher based in the state of Arizona for now. And for today's class, I'm going to be guiding you through a beginner's hatha style yoga flow that is focused on opening up through the backs of the hamstring. This class is going to be about 30 minutes in length. However, if you would like a full 60-minute version of this same style, it will be available on my website. I would love it if you would check it out. So props aren't just for beginners. I think that they're here to make flows fun. So have 2 blocks handy and a yoga strap handy, or a belt or a scarf, anything of that long shape. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started in a fish pose. So grab onto your 2 blocks and bring the first block horizontal, parallel with the top of your mat, and then the second one vertical, coming down like a T shape. And extend the legs out long. You can roll the spine down onto your block, making the bottom of the first block align where a bra strap would be in the middle of your back. Letting the shoulders melt around the block and aligning the head in a comfortable position on the second block. Allowing the arms to just rest at your side. This may take a little moving and adjusting to find comfortability, but once you find it, go ahead and relax down into the props, maybe closing down your eyes, and beginning your practice. Beginning to tune in, drawing your awareness to your mat, to your body, to your breath, to your mind. Begin to notice if your breathing is shallow and short, and allow yourself to extend your breath, lengthening and deepening every inhale and exhale. Setting the intention of presence for today's practice. Acknowledging that your mind may try to wander, but that's okay. Just gently bring it back, allowing the thoughts to pass in through one ear and out the other. Not stopping to analyze everything. Just arriving here on your mat and being present within your body and your breath throughout the duration of this practice. Remembering that everything that I am saying is just a suggestion for a yoga pose, but yoga can be whatever you need it to be. So be sure to listen to your body throughout class. And make this your own practice. When you're ready, start to draw the chin in towards the chest as you lift the forehead up, pressing down through the forearms and lifting up off of your blocks. Go ahead and remove the blocks from your mat, placing them onto one side. And then cross at your ankles and roll over into hands and knees. So stacking your knees underneath your hips and your hands underneath your shoulders. Beginning to move through the spine a little bit. Inhale, lift the chest forward, tailbone up for cow pose, pulling the shoulder blades together on your back. Then exhale, begin to round through the spine, drawing the chin towards the chest and pressing the shoulder blades apart. Cat pose. Inhale, lift the chest forward. And exhale, round through the spine. Beginning to sync your movements with your breath here. And tune into the sensations in your body. On your next inhale, come back to a neutral spine. And then step the right foot in between the hands. So finding your low lunge. Here you're going to grab onto those two blocks again and place them underneath the hands, whatever level is most comfortable. For reference, when I say level 1, this is level 1. Level 2 is up like this, and level 3 is the highest of the high. So taking whichever level is easiest, allowing you enough space to breathe. On your next inhale, lift the chest high. And then exhale, begin to rock back onto that right heel, pulling the toes towards the forehead and lowering the forehead towards the knee. So taking a gentle hamstring stretch here. Inhale, walk the blocks forward, come back to that low lunge. And exhale, walk it back onto the heel. If this is too much on the left knee, you can always tuck your mat under and stack your left knee on top of 2 layers of the mat. Continuing to move with your own breath, inhale forward and exhale back. Taking a few more fluid movements on your own. Being mindful that when you're bending into your front knee, your knee doesn't come past the ankle. You really want to keep it locked and not overextend. That goes throughout the whole class today. On your next exhale, we'll go ahead and meet in that reclined hamstring stretch. And feel free to stay here or keep the left hand on the block and bring the right hand to your right hip. Begin to pull the right hip back as you twist the chest open towards the right. And either stay here or reach that right arm up and overhead. So if this is too much, you can always just stay here through center. Again, making this your own practice, taking the variation that suits you. Keeping those toes active and flexed back towards the face. Exhale, lower the right hand back down and walk the hands forward. Then step the right toes back towards the left and switch sides. So step that left foot in between the hands, finding your low lunge on the second side. Being mindful of the knee. Inhale to lift the chest forward and exhale, rock back onto your heel, drawing the toes towards the face. Inhale forward. Exhale back. 2 more on your own. Next time you're in that hamstring stretch, go ahead and hold. And either stay here in center or add a twist by keeping the right hand down on your block. Bring the left hand to the left hip, draw the left hip back as you open the chest towards the left, maybe reaching that left arm up and overhead. Exhale to release. Left hand comes back to your block. Walk the blocks forward. And step left knee back to meet the right. Then bring your blocks down to level 1, gripping the thumb and pinky finger around the edges if you can. Coming back to your all fours. So aligning the shoulders under the wrists on top of the blocks and knees under your hips. From here, extend your right toes back behind you, and then keeping the left hand, left knee down, begin to drop that right heel down, stacking the right hip over the left, opening the chest towards the right, maybe reaching that right arm up and overhead. Finding a half side plank here. And exhale, release that right hand back to your block and step that right foot to the top of your mat on the outside edge of both of your blocks. So finding your lizard pose. Breathing into the hips here. Being careful to keep the ankle aligned with the knee and the knee aligned with the hip, not letting your knee splay out and over. And you can either stay up on the palms or you can lower your forearms down onto your blocks, as long as that doesn't compromise your breath. Taking 3 deep breaths here. And on your next inhale, bring the right hand to your right thigh. Twist open towards the right, and either stay here or reach that right arm back behind you. Bring that right arm back around to the block, and then step the right toes back towards the left, coming back to your all fours. Extend the left toes back this time. Keeping the right hand, right knee down, begin to open up towards the left. Left hip stacks over the right. Maybe lifting the left hand up towards the ceiling. And exhale, left hand comes back to the block and step the left foot on the outside edge of the block. Finding your lizard pose once more. Again, breathing into the hips, maybe noticing the body's asymmetry here, how one side is different than the other. And either stay up on the palms or lower down onto your forearms. Taking the variation where it's easiest to breathe. Focusing on how this pose feels in your body, not how it looks. Keeping the right hand down. Bring the left hand to the left thigh, twisting the chest open towards the left. Maybe extending that left arm back behind you. Opening the chest. And bring the left hand back around to the block. And step the left toes back, coming back to your all fours. Keeping the hips over the knees, slowly lower the elbows down to your blocks. Bringing the hands to prayer hands, pressing them together as you lower the forehead down between the blocks and bring the hands back behind the nape of your neck. Keeping the hips lifted, chest melting forward. Finding puppy pose with your blocks. Slowly begin to straighten through the elbows, coming back up, pressing into the hands, and bringing the hands to your blocks. From here, walk the knees back, tuck your toes, keeping the hands on the blocks, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Taking some time here to feel into the backs of the legs, bending into one knee and then the other. Pressing the chest back towards the thighs. As you're ready, shift your gaze forward and step both feet to the top of your mat. Maybe wiggling your blocks out a little bit, but keeping them close by, finding a forward fold. Grabbing onto opposite elbows and swaying from side to side. Then release the hands back down towards the mat and inhale, halfway lift. Bring the hands to your shins. Exhale, fold forward and plant both hands down. Step the left toes back. So keeping the right knee stacked over that right ankle, hands down on your blocks. Back heel is lifted. Really trying to scissor the hips together, engaging in your lower abs and your inner thighs, keeping the legs engaged. Inhale to draw the chest forward and lengthen out through the crown of your head. Then exhale, begin to straighten through your front knee, keeping that back heel lifted, drawing the forehead towards the right knee. If this is too much, you can always go from low lunge back to that reclined hamstring stretch on your left knee. Or inhale, bring it forward to that runner's lunge. And exhale back, modified pyramid pose. So trying to move as slow and mindful as you can here. Trying to tune in to every bit of muscle that's being activated here and engaged. Taking one more deep breath here. In, forward. And exhale back. This time staying back. Can either hang out here, forehead is drawing towards the knee, or you can keep the left hand down, and just like we did on the knee, bring the right hand to the right hip, draw the right hip back as you twist the chest open towards the right, and extend that right arm up and overhead. So as always, taking the variation that's easiest to breathe in, not pushing yourself too hard. Staying where is best for you. And slowly release both hands back to the blocks and step that left foot back to the top of your mat, finding your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, bring your hands to your shins. And exhale, bring the hands back to your blocks. This time, step the right toes back behind you, stacking the left knee over the left ankle, engaging through your inner thighs, scissoring the hips together. Then inhale, lift the chest forward. Exhale, begin to straighten through the front knee, draw forehead towards the knee. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Remember, you can always take this with the right knee down on the mat. Moving through two more deep breaths in and out. Next time you exhale, finding that forward fold over the left leg, hang here. Either staying relaxed, letting the tension go in your neck, or adding a twist by keeping the right hand down, bring the left hand to the left hip, draw the left hip back as you open the chest towards the left, and reach the left hand up towards the ceiling. So pausing wherever you feel good sensation. If you ever feel pinching, pain, take it back a level. Release the left hand back down to the block and step right foot back to the top of your mat. Finding a forward fold, you can grab opposite elbows, letting the head hang heavy. Then you have two options for the next pose. So you can walk your feet out to the outer edges of your mat. First option is keeping your toes pointing forward. Lower the hips down, bringing the thighs parallel to the mat and reaching the arms out in front of you. Bear pose. Or you can grab onto one of your blocks, place it underneath your hips, angle your toes out, heels in, and lower the hip bones down onto your block. Carefully. Bringing the hands through heart center, pressing the knees apart from one another. If both of these are uncomfortable, you can always come into a just comfy seat, whatever that is for you, on your bum. But wherever you are, let's find a little twist. So if you're in a seat, you will just place your hand in front of your knee, reach the left hand up. If you're in Malasana, you will press the right elbow into the right knee, lifting the left hand up. And if you're in that bear squat, you can just place right hand in between the feet in the center of your mat, lifting the left hand up. So really just finding the variation that works for you today. Maybe if you're repeating this class, you can take a different variation than you did the last time. It's not that one is easier or harder or better or worse than the others. They all just feel different. All right, now you can come back through center and bring the hands through heart center and switch sides. So place the left hand down, maybe pressing it into the knee if you're in Malasana, and reaching the right arm up. Taking your variation of this pose as we begin to wind down our practice. Lower the right hand back down, bring the hands through center, and then make your way into a comfy seat. So remove the block from underneath your hips, but keep holding on to it because you're going to stick it right back between your thighs. Shift your hips forward and begin to lower down onto your back, walking the heels in towards the hips. And really squeezing that block together again with the inner thighs, pressing down through the feet. Grab onto the outside edges of your mat, like you're trying to pull it into two pieces. Engage your arms and tuck your shoulders underneath you. Begin to press down through the feet, lifting the hips up, finding your bridge pose, squeezing the block. Inhale to lift, exhale to lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Continuing to move with your breath. Again, not rushing it here, but tuning into every little piece of your muscle that gets used in every little movement. Syncing the movement to your breath. Taking 2 more deep breaths. And exhale, go ahead and release hips all the way down to the mat. And take that block from in between the thighs. We're going to use it again, so keep it close. But grab on to your strap or your belt, whatever you got, and wrap it around the ball of your right foot, extending the right leg up high. Holding on to the strap however is most comfortable so that you can keep your shoulders down on the mat. You can always keep the left leg bent, pressing the lower spine down into the mat. Or if it's comfy, you can extend the left leg out long. Finding length at whatever distance you're at. Then put both strands of the strap that you're using into the right hand. Bring the left hand to the left hip. Now keeping the entire body as it is, gently let the right leg begin to fall open towards the right, moving slowly and stopping where is best for you. That's why we have the strap. Really makes every angle kind of accessible here. So whether you're at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, it don't matter. Just find a stretch. Keeping that leg active and engaged by flexing through the toes. And gently pull that right leg back through center and switch the strap to your left hand, Begin to roll onto that left hip as you draw the right leg across the body and towards the left. Extending the right arm out at your side and keeping both shoulders down, finding a stretch in the other direction. And inhale, come back through center. Begin to switch which foot is in the strap, moving slowly, and then meeting back in center. Left leg is extended up towards the ceiling in the strap, and the right sole of foot is down on the mat, or the right leg is extended out long. Keeping the upper body pressed down into the mat. Noticing if your mind is beginning to wander a little bit more now that we're slowing down our practice. And just continue to draw your awareness back to your breath and back to your presence. Shift the strap over into the left hand and keeping the right hand on the right hip. Whole body stays stable as you gently let the left leg open towards the left. If you feel pinching in your hip, bring the leg a little bit. So you're not focusing on distance here, you're focusing on sensation. What feels good in your body? Inhale, lift it back through center. Switch the strap to the other hand and shift over onto that right hip. Drop the leg over towards the right, extending that left arm out at your side. Recline spinal twist on the second side, keeping the shoulders down on your mat. And inhale, come back up through center. Go ahead and release the strap from around your foot. And if your strap has hooks or a belt hook, go ahead and make a loop with your strap. And if yours doesn't have a buckle or anything you can snap it to, go ahead and tie it together. Cool, I didn't even get any twists. Then making a loop about the distance of your hips. You're going to tuck that entire loop around both feet, placing it in the same spot on each foot. And then bend into the knees, bringing the soles of the feet down to your mat. We're going to add a block into the stretch as well, using all the props here. So slide one block on level 1 underneath your hips. Then begin to hug the knees in towards the chest. This may take a little adjusting on your block to find a comfortable point. But when you're comfy here, begin to extend the legs up towards the ceiling. So tightening the strap where is needed or loosening it so that your feet can hang comfortably in hip-width distance apart. Allowing the legs to completely relax here. The strap helps your legs stay engaged and in place without you actually having to put a lot of effort in. This is also another variation of legs up the wall when your wall is covered in plants. So if you don't have a strap or blocks, just do legs up the wall. Same stretch. If this is too much on your legs, you can bend into the knees to bring the shins parallel to your mat. This engages the lower belly a little bit, but it takes the gravity off a little bit from your knee joints. Again, just making this pose your own, finding what's comfy for you. Slowly begin to release this pose, releasing the strap off to one side and lowering the soles of feet back down to the mat. Moving into supported bridge, you can either stay here on the lowest level or you can flip the block up to level 2, placing the hips on the block wherever is comfortable and resting the arms out at your sides. Maybe closing down your eyes as we rest in to the end of our practice. Just allowing your body to melt into the props and the mat beneath you. Finding comfort in stillness. Then inhale, slowly lift the hips back up and remove the block, lowering the hips down. And slowly begin to extend the legs out long, resting the arms down at your sides. Taking any little wiggles or movements or adjustments that you need in order to find stillness. If the eyes weren't closed, go ahead and close them. Drawing your awareness back to the breath. And remaining focused on the intention of presence as you lie here in stillness. Being completely present with every sensation that you feel as you lie here in Shavasana. Begin to bring some movement back to your hands and your feet, the legs and the arms. And then reach both arms up and overhead. Deep inhale, full body stretch. Then bend into both knees and roll over onto one side. Taking one final moment here in stillness. As you inhale, keeping your eyes closed, make your way back into a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you. Either placing the hands on the knees or bringing hands through heart center and taking one final grounding breath in 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Slightly tucking your chin and thanking yourself for showing up for your practice today here on your mat. Gently blinking the eyes back open and coming back to the room around you. I thank you all for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed today's class. As a reminder, if you want a full 60-minute version of this flow, be sure to check the link down in the description box, and let me know down in the comments what other free YouTube classes you would like to see. I'm not going to stop making them, so be sure to subscribe and stick around. I post yoga flows every week and vlogs every weekend, so I hope to see you in my next video, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye guys!